It's live.
We here, baby.
Man, you're a part of something. It's something big. Because Benfica is more than just football. It's more than just soccer.
I'll start this motherfucker off.
Listen, everyone, this is the new channel, Benfica After 90.
A gente tem futebol melhor, país melhor. Abraço a todos, viva Benfica, viva Portugal!
And thank you for joining us for Benfica After 90. You got myself, M. Dot, Mr. Mello, covering off another Benfica game, weekday game. Monday. Who the fuck likes soccer on a Monday? But whatever, man, I'll take it.
I told you on the last show, man, I needed this weekend to cool my jets, to get back in the flow, do some family things, get ready for Monday.
Yeah. Oh man. So how do you feel overall though? Okay, let's kick off into that part of it. You feeling okay about things? You feeling It's a win. It's a win, man. 3 points, man. Benfica had like 4 games without winning. You know, we take on the mighty Gil Vicente.
How do I feel about things? I'm not too happy about things.
Yeah.
Am I happy about today? I'm relieved. I would say I'm relieved. I'm very relieved. Benfica finally got off the schneid, if you will. All right, they got back on the wagon with a win in the win column. And I just would like to say, this is the first time we've led in 4 matches. Like, this is the first time we led a game in 4 fucking matches. I'm trying to think back. I'm like, yeah, man, we haven't led. I mean, for the most part, opening up, the scoring is usually Benfica's been conceding those opening goals. So it's nice to see Benfica play with a lead. But I think later on that lead it kind of does something to Benfica a little bit.
It felt rocky, man. It felt rocky.
Yeah, it bogs us down. Yeah, it felt rocky. It felt like, when's the next coming? That's what I was waiting for. When's the next one coming? When's the next one coming?
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of things to kind of break down. So we're gonna kind of cover off the fact. Okay, obviously new lineup, new tactics going in, trying something different again for the I don't know how many times this season. Talk a little bit. I gotta touch on the rest a little bit because there's some stupidities there. The Benfica form. Looking at today versus what's coming up this week with Europe and Europa against Shakhtar, you know what I mean? So we'll touch on all that, man. I guess I'll start off with the lineup if that's okay.
Let's do it.
So we went with the 4-3-3. A little bit of a switch up here. It's felt half the time we've been playing kind of 4-3-3. I know they show it as a 4-4-2, but the way we kind of line up sometimes, it kind of didn't feel. It kind of felt like awkward, I guess you could say, for a long time with this squad. I think the 4-3-3 looked a little bit more structured at the beginning, then it kind of lost its flow partway through the game. But we got Odi, Tomás, Ruben Diaz, Ferro, Grimaldo, and then we got Samaris, Weigl, and Trapp in the mid there, and then Pizzi, Vinicius, and Rafa. I'll be honest. On paper, it's not a bad lineup. It's a good lineup. I like the idea if you're gonna do a 4-3-3 of having maybe 2 defensive mids with Tarat, because Tarat's not the best at tracking back. So let him kind of be more that attacking mid kind of player, and he had some beautiful passes, led to a beautiful assist to the goal. He almost got like a goal of the season kind of thing at one point.
All right.
Yeah, man, he did good. He did good, man. Taras, I think, a weak on running back. Not that he doesn't hustle. He hustles hard, but I kind of get worried when he's running back towards the box, like if he's gonna just fucking TKO some guy on the pitch. Samaris did that at one point, man. He fucking plowed a guy, got the ball perfectly. But I think Samadi's better at timing those crunching tackles. You know what I mean? Like I always get scared. We're gonna see Taras get a red one of these days. Weigl was okay. Like it wasn't like a dominant game, not a bad game. Just it was okay. But it didn't feel to me like if I was to quickly, I guess I'll start off and I'll toss up the stats and then like Alex get into it a little bit. But you know, 16 shots for Gil Vicente, 10 for us. You know what I mean? Overall, like we had more possession, 57% of the ball, but we barely like we shot, but it just and I gotta say like there was a second goal I think was onside. It wasn't offside. I think it's bullshit how the league treated it. I think the fucking handball was utter bullshit because Porto gets a PK for that kind of shit against us and we don't get nothing. It's just this double standard how officiating is done in this league and how things are handled depending on which team's on the pitch and I don't want to get into conspiracy theories. We deserved the 3 points. We earned the 3 points. It wasn't easy. It was a slug, and Gil Vicente's been known to be tough. But man, all credit to Gil Vicente, man. Their manager played a bang up game because this is David versus Goliath. We're Real Madrid, and these guys are the tiny no name fish in the sea, and we barely came out with 3 points. So it's good to finally be in the win column. But part of me feels a little negative just because of it doesn't feel like we're overly confident. I just hope that whatever we got the W and we could just grow from here, do something from here. But I'm not really celebrating like yeah we're gonna be champions with the type of victory that we pulled off.
Right. And I don't want to take away anything from Gil Vicente today. They played very good game as far as tactically. They they stuck to the game plan.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't want to take anything away from them, but this Benfica team, this Benfica squad, the players themselves, they've been really like leaving a lot out on the pitch. And what I mean by that is I think that I'm not questioning anybody's like um, passion for the game or for the club. I'm not questioning anybody's uh, loyalty to the club. But what I do question sometimes is their mental, like the mentality of this team. What is the mentality? Like what is this mentality of this team? I know I'm skipping way ahead, but to watch a team like Gil Vicente literally dominate the last 12 minutes of this match. I don't care if they're home. I don't care where they're at. I don't care if they're trying to get a score. I don't care. You know how sometimes you watch a football game and it just switches all of a sudden. One team has the ball for a little bit, then all of a sudden the next team has the ball. Benfica, there shouldn't be a time where Benfica is backpedal like constantly just like when they were like just what's the word? It's so frustrating to watch. I can't even think of it. It's like they're just sitting back waiting and waiting for the
Yeah,
pressure, right?
it's
They're
it's
just
like
welcoming the pressure.
yeah
And I don't even think that it's they're welcoming it anymore. I think that they just literally they're
lost
playing
control.
shitty defense. They're
Yeah.
playing shitty team defense. They're playing I just can't I can't I don't understand. It's
Well, no,
just not making much
it's
sense
a
to me.
combination of things. There's one part. Who the heck did it? I'm trying to remember if it was fuck one of the players. I don't know if it was Farrow or Ruben Diaz. One of the guys. They did again one of those moments where I think it was Farrow. He kind of held on to the ball and almost looked like he was going to pull
Too
Ruben
long.
Diaz.
Too long. Yeah, it was
So
fair.
you kind of get nervous. I remember that one. There's a one where and Odie, it's one of these bipolar things where people get saying, "Oh, Odie was one of the top players on the pitch today," but at the same time, like there was a ton of balls thrown at Odie that were not strong shots. They were like lobs, and Odie just volleyballs them in front of the pitch. There's one on the 23rd or 26th minute. I'm trying to remember off the top of my memory. But it was in that time period. I remember, like at the time, I memorized that because it was such a soft shot, and he just bops it right in front of the box. A GVC player gets it, puts side pass it, crazy shot right there. Odie like after bopping had to do an amazing save, so it's like he did an amazing save, great by Odie, but he had to make an amazing save because he's forgotten how to catch a ball. And I've noticed
Right.
this trend's getting worse. Like it's just like these lobs or crosses or direct shots, and some shots are hard and you got to punch them out. Um,
Mhm.
these guys are
You know,
they're trained to like when a ball comes at you where you directionally punch, so when it hits, you know it's gonna flick right or left up. It's just I feel too many are going into dangerous areas, and so I see these shots at Odie, and yeah, he saved it, but I feel nervous. I see Ruben Diaz stealing the ball, handles it too much. I feel nervous. I see like the guys running out of momentum. Like the first half, they started good, but they
I
start kind of
think
running out of gas. It's like you
I
just
think
feel
what it is, Mario, is we're
antsy.
soft. Say it. We're soft.
That's the thing.
We're soft.
It's we're missing that killer instinct, and it's like
We're
then
soft.
then
That's it.
I look at Bruno Lage. Okay, you see what's happening. We're missing that killer instinct. We got a game in Europa coming up in a few days' time, and I'm sorry. I'm going to be disrespectful now for Gil Vicente. I think they played an amazing game. They attacked us, but they're fucking Gil Vicente. Shakhtar is a more talented, more well-run club, bigger team than Gil Vicente. And if we're playing like this against Gil Vicente, I get nervous with the Shakhtar game. And I get nervous because we're winning, things aren't looking too well, and our manager sat there and sat on his hands until the 80th minute before he started making substitutions when our guys are burning out. And it seemed like he was
His
being.
favorite tac. This is his favorite tactic, Mario.
Yeah. Mm. And
That's all the fucking.
you know what I mean?
That's his
Yeah,
favorite tactic.
yeah. And
Fucking side to side. Like no
just
shit.
just fucking
Like no
sign
shit.
language.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. And like the other
I don't
part,
know,
it's
man.
like it was a piss off. It's like here's a case where he was getting out. He got outmanaged because the game started at one pace. I think the start wasn't too bad for the team.
I think Benfica started off with a lot of energy.
They
A
started
lot of
good. They
energy
started good
going
because
to
it's
the
like
first game.
they came up with
Yeah.
a game plan. And what I'm noticing Benfica struggling with recently is they'll come up with an idea, and sometimes the idea works and we win, and sometimes the idea is mediocre, and sometimes it's not working. But what I have noticed, regardless of what type of idea it is we have a hard time changing. I felt before like we could change a bit more. Like first half doesn't look good. We're gonna do a substitution. We're gonna do a switch of formation. We're gonna switch our idea, and we'll make it work. Whereas lately, it's kind of like we're watching the team okay. They started well. They started good, and then progressively are tapering off throughout this game. And then you see Gil Vicente using a substitute in like the 60th minute, then another substitute, and they start switching attacks. And like you said, all of a sudden, their intensity started coming up. They were watching our idea, and they after a while, that manager started picking apart our idea, and Bruno Lage watched that and just kind of sat there with it. And then it was. Then finally, it kind of felt like he was forced to use those final subs in the dying seconds. But it's like, I, I don't know. I just don't. I don't. With 3 points is 3 points. I don't want to be negative because I think it
Yeah,
still is
no,
a good
no,
result because
Mario.
we broke the
It's
funk.
it's a lack. It's a lack of toughness. It's a lack of toughness. It's a lack of having somebody on the team. And I'm not questioning anybody's manhood. All I'm saying is with some balls. It's one thing to be on the sideline and yelling and screaming. And it's another thing to like really back that shit up when you're on the pitch. You know what I mean? I'm not pulling somebody's card or anything like that. Somebody's, he's not he talks a lot tougher than what sometimes he's out on the pitch. Like I'm just talking about the quality of player. Again, I'm not trying to throw my players under the bus. I love my players, but like I need somebody who can talk, they'll talk and walk the walk. Right. So if I call you a filho da puta on the sideline, I'm gonna show you that you're a filho da puta when I'm on the pitch. Right. So I just want somebody to show somebody something. Step up. That last 12 minutes, and again, I hate to fast forward because a lot of things I want to talk about in the beginning, but like that last 12 minutes left like the bad taste in my mouth where I'm watching Gil Vicente completely control the whole game. They're making the passes they want. They're getting the shots that they wanted. They're getting corner kicks. You know what I mean? They were completely manhandling Benfica for too long, in my opinion, for too long of a stretch, in my opinion, than a Gil Vicente needs to do with a team like Benfica. And it really is just like yes, Ruben Diaz, he's a tough dude. He's a tough guy. But you got one tough guy in the back and you got one tough guy in the front. What about the rest? Who in the middle is gonna, you know what I mean? Who's gonna step it up? Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that
And like
they
these
not
guys, like
men. I'm just saying like I need somebody to go in the middle of the pitch and say y'all not doing this. Like this is not gonna happen. Those lanes, your passing lanes, those runs that you're making, I'm stopping them. I'm stopping them here now. I'm not saying that one player can do it. All I'm saying is it'd be nice to have and I hate to keep bringing it up. A guy like Gabriel in the beginning of the season, yes, he got a lot of people saying that passes. But there's one thing that Gabriel brought to this team was this toughness, was this like this
a little bit
aggressiveness
more.
in the
But it's
midfield,
it's
and it
not only an
connected.
aggressiveness, but a smart aggressiveness. You know what I mean? Like it's just he's a
Right?
good player, and I don't know. I also go back to and Peter Parker made this comment also, and it's interesting because it is I think mental. This game is very much a mental sport where if you are not mentally there, or maybe you start off well, we start off well, but all of a sudden the ref robbed us of the second goal, the ref robbed us of a handball, and you're these guys and you're playing and you're like, what fucking Mickey Mouse league do I play in? Like 2 weeks ago, we lost a game in Porto. And we're now in this situation because that handball counts then, but it doesn't count now. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure that goal was just onside. Where's VAR? Oh, you don't want to do VAR now? Okay, fucking rinky-dink joint we're running. I don't know. Maybe maybe they're mentally weak right now. They're mentally drained. They've had 4 games where they didn't win, and they go into this game and maybe they're kind of thinking, oh, we can do this, and it's like they're barely scraping through, and they're maybe mentally weak, and that's why near the end they're tapering off. They just didn't have the maybe that fire, and I don't know. It's like I look at it and I was hoping. And I know Gil Vicente, it's kind of like they've been extremely tough. They got the best of Porto and Braga and teams at home. But I still am being arrogant. We're the bigger club. We're the more established club. And I was hoping we'd come in here and do something to rebuild our confidence, rebuild it. Now I go into this game in Europa, and I don't know about you, buddy. I'm like, we'll see how it goes. We might advance. We might get a 1-0. We might do what it needs to get through. We'll see. But it's not like it's. I'm not feeling like beaming with confidence. Like I think we can nick it through. I think we could advance, but you don't kind of sit there like like if we came in here and smashed these guys 3-0 and owned this game, did early substitutions, rested some guys from Europa. It felt like, oh shit, we got our shit back. We got our game under control. We got this. It doesn't feel like that. Maybe that's a good thing because maybe we get like cocky for no reason that we shouldn't be. But
Yeah, I mean, but like, I just like, I'm okay with a 1-0 win, Mario. I'm okay with that.
but
But
it's when
like
you
the
win
way
confidently.
that the
It's the way it
way
came. Yes,
it's the
yes, I
way
see. I
you
see.
win.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the way you win a 1-0 game. If we were out there and the ball just didn't bounce all our way all the time, we could have been 5-6-0. Okay, cool. You know that game couldn't. That game wasn't like that today. That game, it could have been maybe 2-0 if Tarap scored that goal you were talking about, or maybe it could have been 2-2 if Odie didn't make a couple good saves.
yeah, yeah.
I think the thing here is that he sees a glaring weakness, and I was talking to somebody on Twitter, and he was right, and I suspected this too. Somebody's played cover Grimaldo, right? That's really what he was doing today. If you really watch where Samaris was most of the pitch, that hard tackle to over to the left, he's shading a lot over there, which brings Opt back, which brings Weigel all the way back. It doesn't bode well for something you have a glaring weakness to, and Bruno Lage refuses to do anything about it right now. He refuses to sit down Grimaldo for a game. He refuses to sit down Ferro for a game. He refuses to make any adjustments on the people on our biggest glaring weaknesses. You know what I mean? And it really starts on that back line. It really, really does start on that back line because anytime now that a team has the ball, I'm nervous.
Well, here's
Because
here's what's depressing
they're gonna
is
dribble past my midfield.
yeah.
They're gonna dribble past my center backs, and they're gonna fucking put a shot on goal. And Odie has to be better than what he really, really is. You know what I mean? Because if he wasn't, we would be, we'd be in second fucking place, third place right now. Be honest.
Yeah, no, Odie
Just
saved
the
our
way that
ass.
they
Yeah,
go.
he has. But you look at it, you have to think also. Here's the part that was kind of frustrating. It's two things. We were playing before with like more one defensive mid, and we added two defensive mids. Yet adding two more defensive mids resulted in us
Bogged it
getting
down.
outshot, out like we were getting pelted. I'm like, wait, we got more reinforcements there, and it's not a case like I know like Farrow and Diaz are exhausted because we never rotate. We're like we've made it unless something changes in the next like couple of months before the season's done. Our goal is to have serious injuries for these two guys and end them for the season because we're not rotating them. We're burning them out. We don't give a shit if they're playing good or poorly. We're just pushing them the wrong way. But Samaris and Weigel didn't play the Europa game. Those are two fully rested players playing defensive mid. Yet we still couldn't get that handle. Like they were kind of cutting through. They're still
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
into dangerous spots, and it was kind of like, damn. It's you're thinking that.
because they're in a position, Mario, where they're covering defensive spots. Weigel and Samaris today were there to cover up defensive deficiencies,
Yeah,
and they can't play a midfield role. They can't play a defensive mid if they need to play a center back essentially. You know what I mean? Or if they need to play a left back. And that's basically what Samaris was doing today. Again, covering Grimaldo's side, and it brought everything back because Ferro and Ruben Diaz with the ball at their feet, I know they're not confident. They've been terrible. Oh, I mean, like you said earlier, Ferro almost had that one moment where he gave it up. He almost gave it up, just like Ruben Diaz did. It's mental lapses. This team is making mental lapses, and it really does start from the back and start over there on the sideline with Bruno Lage.
yeah,
Something he's not getting something through with these. They not like I said last week. They're not communicating. They're not talking out there on the pitch. The only time they're talking is when they're blaming each other after a play has been given up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's cool to celebrate those goals the way they do, but I would like to for you to celebrate a defensive stop just the way you take attack. You celebrate a goal. You know, I would love that. I like the defensive side of the ball. I love the offense. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but I love the defensive side of the ball. I love locking the team down and being able to dictate the rest of the game. That's really where it starts for me. Is a back line, and if your back line is depleted the way we are, a lack of confidence, lack of heart, lack of really just legs. Really, they just ain't got no legs underneath them. You know what I mean? And
They're
they're
burnt out,
and they're
man.
not. Bruno Lage ain't doing any of them any favors because I hear you got to play through it. You got to play through it. Yeah, but like, how much is that gonna cost us if we just keep playing through it? Like, is it gonna cost us another 3 fucking points? Is it gonna cost us two? You know,
Well,
is it gonna cost us first place?
here's like a terrible statement right here. Like, so, as you're talking, and I'm listening to you, buddy, but I'm looking at this thing like, okay, so I'm bringing up different games, and I see Porto versus Gil Vicente, right? This is at the Dragão, so it is different, but Gil Vicente only gets 6 shots off, instead of 16 against Benfica. If I keep going through the docket, I think the amount of games that Gil Vicente gets 16 shots off, to be honest, are going to be very few and far in between. And so that's kind of it. It isn't a case, and I know people are like they're a tough team, but it isn't a case that I don't know, man. It just shouldn't be that way. It's hard to explain. I'm not a professional manager. I'm not a professional player.
No, you're
We
right.
just
It shouldn't be.
we just it doesn't feel right. Let's just put it that way, because
You know why
that's
it don't
really
feel right? Because a week and a half ago, we was up 7 points in this league.
yeah,
We
man.
were up 7 points, and and I also do want to say this, even though I'm blaming Benfica for the performance as of late, and you gave up a lot of love to Gil Vicente. And I've been saying this about this league for a very long time. It may lack strikers. It may lack that in this league. We ain't got a bunch of premier strikers, guys who are just lighting it up as far as young strikers go. But this game, this Portuguese soccer, I don't know whether it's getting better. The competition is getting tougher. The coaches are better. They're better suited. They're better coaches now that you're bringing in. You're not bringing in, bum coaches. These are good coaches who've been around a long time, who've been around this league a long time, who've been able to go from Stubble to Guimarães to Gil Vicente or whatever their path may be. I do want to say that also, like this league is getting better. It's getting stronger. It's like a lot of people say the Liga NOS is like your next step to Europe. Like that's a lot of players' gateway to Europe is to go through Liga NOS, right? So the Liga NOS has a lot of good talent in this league,
Yeah, man.
and and saying that, knowing to me that I can watch any Liga NOS game on the weekend to me and find it very entertaining, better than any MLS game, better than any Mexican league game, better than any Brazilian game. To me, that's just to me. I'm not tuning into France.
Yeah,
I'm not tuning
but I
into
find
French
I
football.
do find our league they're very scrappy. You got depending on the day,
Right.
it's you need grit. You need a bit more strength. You need
You
more
do.
resolve. You're not
And
gonna.
an example is Weigl, Mario.
Yeah,
Weigl comes from a league that's very aggressive, very hard hitting, straight to the point, German soccer, right?
yeah,
You come to this league, it's gonna take a little adjustment because you got these little fucking guys running in circles. Like
yeah.
these little guys are fast, they're technical. You know what I mean? Like I said, they might not be good strikers. We don't got that. That's something we lack in this league is strikers. I don't know why. We have everything else though. Everything else behind that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The League of Notes can offer. But being said that in this a more competitive league, to me, we're up 7 points. We're up 7 points, and we just continuously have been shooting ourselves in the foot over and over and over. Go back to the Braga game. We could have easily won that game. We should have won that game. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
should have won that game. They gave us they kept us in the game way too long. We went for the draw. Like it should have been that way. Porto, it should at least came to a draw. That game should have been a draw at the most. But we shoot ourselves in the foot. Lack of adjustments, lack of intensity, lack of, like Peter Parker said, mental. Our mental is not right. Something's wrong. And it's very frustrating. Like I said, man, that like I said, I keep thinking, I go back to that game, I keep thinking of that last 16 minutes or so. When Gil Vicente, they were like, okay, well, you guys are just gonna keep us around. We're just gonna play with this ball a little bit, and we're gonna attack. A lot of those shots came from the end of that match. To be honest, right? They
Yeah,
they were really putting
But
they were putting a lot of pressure on them.
yeah,
But the fact that
we
we
allowed it to
allowed
happen.
them to do
Yes,
that shit's crazy, Mario. Crazy to
exactly.
me.
And you know it doesn't. It's kind of tough. It's tough to kind of look at this and say whatever. I look at it as a midweek game that we got Europa coming up. I gotta. Do you mind if I punch into Europa a little bit? Is that okay? Or
All good, man.
yeah,
All good.
it's kind of going to that whole keys of the season, or in this case, I don't think it's keys of the season right now. I think it's more looking at like keys to the game coming up. You know, so
I'm
do you think we're
I'm
gonna go
worried.
with the same lineup? Or you think we're gonna go not the same lineup of players, but like you think it's 4-3-3?
I think so.
You think
Yeah, I
so?
think they ran that today so they could run that in Europe.
I
Because
expect Servi instead to start because at the end of the day he got rested, so that makes logical sense. You know, you want to bring some strength because Shakhtar is on break, so they're coming fully rested. They didn't play. They played practice matches or whatever they were doing, but they didn't play any official matches. I don't think. I could be wrong, but I haven't looked up their schedule. But I'm pretty sure this is their next game. So they're rested. They're coming in full strength. They got the 2-1 lead. Shakhtar is a tremendous away record. They're worse at home than they are away in Europe. It's been like that this season. It's been like that for a few seasons now. So they're going to be even tougher this time around. So I could foresee us doing Servi. I could see a Chiquinho. I can see a couple of tweaks here and there. I can see Florentino. I guarantee it's going to happen just because you can't burn these guys out and 3 days later expect them to go full strength against a team that's like, even more talented and more motivated than Gil Vicente is. You know what I mean? So as I get my camera strained up here real quickly because this happens once per episode, guaranteed. It's some glitching.
when they look at themselves in the mirror.
Yeah, there we go.
Because if Benfica look to this game to rest guys, to give Servia a spot start, to give Florentino a spot start, that's gonna tell me that Benfica is in a spot where they're gonna hedge their bets. They want to hedge their bets a little bit, right? Let's take the Liga. Let's take the Liga because I can't. I told you, you can't lose the Liga because we're up 7 fucking points, right? So Thursday's lineup is gonna tell me a lot about what we see. What, like I said, what Benfica see when they look at themselves in the mirror. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
this game, I'm very worried, Mario. I'm very worried. This game, we could lose, and it could be the same thing, and we'll just be okay and limp our way into the Liga NOS title and be out of Europe, or we can lose this game 3-4-0, some crazy number like that. Our fucking confidence is shot. Our the intensity is gone. Like I'm really like it could really break us if we don't figure something out in this next match, man. I'm really worried about the mental state of what's going on.
yeah,
Like
because
it
I
just
think
something's
fans
wrong.
expected more. So if you get knocked out of Europe this quick, all of a sudden it doesn't feel as nice. And I gotta say, we got like a run of a few mild games on the Liga NOS coming up that are manageable, but you won't have the same level of. You'll have the fans backing the team. You saw Bruno Lage pointing at the end of the game for the players looking at pointing at the stands. You got these guys here. One other point I want to kind of skip back. It's a little bit back to that game, but also just talking about this 4-3-3. So Rafa today, Peter Parker was making a comment, didn't look that good. Um, if I go back through history, Rafa was a excellent player, good player. It took him a little bit to adjust, but he became a really good player on this team. And the one year where he fell off recently, because we thought he was playing the 4-4-2, was the Penta year where we switched to the 4-3-3, and we fell off. We fell off on that year. Beginning of last year, he didn't look like much. As soon as Lage came in, he's like, this team's built for a 4-4-2, and Rafa started playing better. Until, you know what I mean? Like, and then Rafa came again this year. He got the injury. He looked good. Got the injury, came back, and then the 4-4-2. He still looked good. He was still looking good, despite everything else happening. Rafa still looked like one of the bigger threats he had on the pitch. Today, he didn't look as threatening. I don't know if maybe if it's just a thing where this player is not used to playing this formation, if it just doesn't suit him well, or what it is. But I think he's such a critical player. He has so much talent. I think he can play in this formation. Like, if there should be no reason why he can't. I just don't know. I sometimes wonder for the training pitch. When you're playing these games, you're live action, and after a little bit, especially when you're exhausted and you're taking hits in the head and you're taking hits on the ground and you're getting frustrated, blood's boiling. you stop thinking. I don't want to say that they get illogical, but they start going more to instinct. And if you're hammered to play one style and now you're being told play something different, does that weaken the team in a sense? Because all of a sudden, when you get that lapse moment where the guy forgets the new tactic and goes back to what he was supposed to do before, and he starts lobbing a pass a certain direction or trying to do something and it doesn't make sense all of a sudden. I don't know. That's why I kind of feel like someone said it. I can't remember if it was Luis's show I did on Sunday with him, the Portuguese one, the weekly recap that he likes doing, or if it was the last BA90. But someone kind of said it feels. Oh, what the fuck was I gonna say on this one? That the team is almost like in a preseason format. It feels like we're experimenting with players and talents, and we're kind of saying, oh, maybe Florentino this game. It's like it doesn't feel like we're rotating the right players. Like we're rotating the mid a lot. Like between I know Gabriel's injured, but between Gabriel, Taraft, Weigl, Florentino, and now Samaris, there's rotation happening in the middle of the park there. But other positions like Ruben Diaz and Ferro, nothing's happening there. And I tell you, man, Seferovic better not fucking start on Thursday. He better. Like, I'll take Diogo Souza. I know Diogo Souza's unproven. To me, it's a gamble. And if Diogo Souza is a gamble that he turns out to be shit, if he is shit, he's no better than Samaris. Because Samaris guaranteed you're getting shit. So I'd rather gamble and see is this shit or not. It's kind of like, it's like box A is a box full of shit. Box B, I don't know what's in there. It's either a box full of shit or a kitten. Okay, so I can either grab the shit or I might still grab shit or I might grab a kitten. All right, let's see if there's a kitten in here. You know what I mean? Like, let's see if there's, worst case there I got shit on my hands. You know what? I was going to get shit on my hands anyways.
You know what? I think with Rafa, he's been, since he came back from injury, this is the perfect way to explain him. He's been consistently inconsistent. But I'll take that over a lot of the shit that we've been having. Like, Rafa, I guarantee Rafa is going to have a great fucking game next match. Because that's what he's been doing. He's been having a good couple games, and then he'll have a fucking terrible one. And then the next game, he'll come out and score 2. And then he'll go back, and he'll have a fucking terrible game. And then the next time, he'll have an assist and a goal. At least, you know, Rafa, it gets up after, you know, after a loss or after a bad performance. A lot of these guys, man, they ain't got nothing to build on. Like I haven't been able to say Grimaldo's had a good game in weeks. I haven't been able to say Fedo's had a good game in weeks. You know what I mean? Like I haven't been able to say, you know, Seferovic, Pizzi. I can go on and on about guys who have been playing like shit. But in the midst of all of this terrible run that we've been on, Rafa, yes, there are been spot games where he's not playing well, but really at the end of it, like he's the main man we've been depending on a lot of it. His cheeky little passes to Vinicius, like a lot of this shit we've been doing is Rafa. Rafa can't do it all by himself. And Vinicius can't do it all by himself, but that is what they've been doing. In some games they're gonna, you know, it's gonna, you know, they're gonna shine a little less. They're gonna shine a little less. That's my point on Rafa. That's my take on Rafa.
Yeah.
Just, you know, I think you guys are right. He didn't play very well today. Whether it be a 4-3-3 or 4-2-2, I don't know. But I know the next game, I count on him having a good game. You know,
well, he's a guy that you want to see on the pitch. Like I like Servi, don't get me wrong, but I feel like okay, I liked what we were doing before we had Servi and Rafa on the pitch. It just feels like when Rafa's not there, it feels like we're not as I don't know. It feels less dangerous. It's like you're taking out a tooth. You know what I mean? Like
you're taking out a quality player.
Yeah, because we got a couple teeth. We got Vinicius, Rafa, and Pizzi. Those are our teeth.
Vinicius is a fucking monster.
He's amazing. He's an amazing player. But
he's
to me,
fucking great. What a find.
So you have a situation where if you got Rafa, Vinicius, Pizzi, you know one of them's gonna do something. Because you know if Vinicius is not going to score, it's going to be Rafa or Pizzi is going to score. If Pizzi's having a shit game...
Pizzi ain't did shit in fucking weeks, Mario. I haven't seen
But that's what I'm saying. He's got moments he's good, but the thing is, to me, it's a case with all three of those players on there. I know one of them's going to do something. You know what I mean? Like, I still have that confidence that something's going to happen. And you know the game that both Vinicius and Rafa are shit, Pizzi's going to step up. There's been opportunities where Pizzi almost scored the Shakhtar game. Like, he's still doing things, same with Rafa. It just feels like something will happen between those three. It's when you take away, let's say if all of a sudden we take away Pizzi and we put Chiquinho. We take away Vinicius and we put Diego Souza or Seferovic. And you take away Rafa and you put Servi. And all of a sudden you see this Europa lineup. It just feels like it's a bit more toothless. It feels less threatening. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather Pizzi taking a shot than Shaquille taking a shot. I'd rather Rafa taking a shot over Servi. No offense, Servi. I really do like him, but I just feel Rafa has more of a killer eye. And I'd take Vinicius over Seferovic or Diego Sosa. You know what I mean? But it's a situation where we don't rotate, we don't use our substitutions early. And now I'm curious if we do play these guys or not. And in terms of Peter made a comment about Europa, do we care about it? I care about the pride and the fact that I would hate to get knocked out of the beginning round of Europa. I think it shows to me right now, if we get knocked out of Europa, I say this here right now, is Bruno Lage is not a Benfica manager in terms of caliber what we need. Because a Benfica manager is a manager that is going to fight for the league. He's going to fight for the domestic cups, and he's got the badge, knows the respect of the club, and wants to compete in Europe. Both Champions League or the UEFA Cup or Europa League, whatever you call it, you're pushing for it. It's the fact that if you disrespect the Europa League like he did last year and play children. It worked a few games until he got knocked out and it was embarrassing with Frankfurt. And what he did with the Champions League was embarrassing. And what he's doing now is kind of like, I hope we advance. But if we don't advance, all of a sudden it's like, what do you do? I know I don't expect to win these tournaments, but I think.
I'm gonna be a downer really quick.
Yeah, go for it, buddy.
Because I love Benfica. There's no fucking question about it. All right. But and I've heard you say this a lot. I've heard you say that if a coach doesn't take the Liga seriously and doesn't take Europa seriously, then he's not a Benfica coach. Take away JJ.
Yeah.
Who was the last fucking Benfica manager that we had who did take this shit seriously?
I think, you know what, I'll say it. I'm being honest. But if you look at like the past like you look at JJ, but you look at pre-J, we've had managers who are pushing. They fail. But I feel like they're going in and they're going, okay, I'm in. Let's say Kiki Flores was a complete failure before Jorge Jesus. But when he played that European games, as much as shit he was, he put his best 11. He sucked as a manager, but as a manager, a Spanish manager coming to Benfica is not the end of his career. Benfica is not making his career. You're paying me to do something here, and if Luis Juveira went to him, it's like, hey, put those children I want to sell. He's gonna go, fuck you. This is my career. I don't give a fuck about you guys. I want to actually show up and do something here. And I think that's the issue right now we're having is that Luis Vieira seems content with the status quo. Like, if you had a manager, like an outside manager,
but Flores knew who his best 11 was. That's a problem, too. We don't know who the fuck. We say we do. We say that's our best 11. And then they come out and play like shit. And they're like, well, maybe we need to put this guy in. And then that's our best 11. And then we play like shit. And then, bring in Jota. And then Jota comes in. And that's our best. And now we're playing like shit. Like, it was different in the past, and maybe that I'm arguing with myself.
Yeah.
But like in the past, we knew our best 11. That's our best 11. That's our best 11, and this is our bench, and it worked perfectly. It worked fucking just perfect.
But I think
we don't know.
Yeah, but we don't know. But I think the reason why we don't know.
Take this shit seriously.
Yeah, but I think the reason we don't know because the schedule's been in place for a long time, is that when you go back to December, January, February, when we're flying high. We're killing this league. We're getting some decent games. Instead of looking at the schedule and saying, oh, we got this gauntlet of matches that are going to hit in February that are going to be Porto, Braga, Europa, we got Taça Portugal. Ooh, that's going to be a gauntlet. Well, we got a few months to prepare, guys, and we're killing it. So when we're winning 3-0 or 3-1 and we got 15 minutes to go, hey, Jota, man, I got to start working you. I got to find some plan B. And I got to create plan B. I got to create plan C. I got to create plan D. I got to create these plans because this gauntlet's going to kill some of my guys. Someone's going to get hurt. Who happens to replace Ruben Diaz if he gets injured? You know what I mean? So it seemed like we were going with this like that started working good. We had Vinicius, Rafa. We started like things were working great, but it's one of these things that, like back in my mind, I'm watching these games like, man, if something happens here to Vinicius or something happens here to Ruben Diaz or something happens to this guy, I don't know what the plan is. And there's been times in the past where you knew what the plan was. You knew if that guy got hurt, this is who the plug is. Right now, all of a sudden, let's say fucking we bring out Jota. I don't know if it's finally when Jota shines, he does something great or not. But we haven't been giving the kid the chance. You know what I mean? Like I think this is, I don't know. It's a combination of faults. I don't want to put it all on Lage either, because to me, if you sit on it hundreds of millions of dollars and you steal it from the club instead of buying a center back that the club needed to give rotation, instead of buying another quality striker that the club needed for rotation, instead of kind of filling in some of the key components that were like a backup keeper. Because guess what? Odie hits the post and an injury, freak event happens. You think I'm going to be content seeing Zoblan in net? against tougher opposition, I'm gonna have a heart attack. I know the season's almost done at that point. It's just one of these things where you look at Plan B, you don't even want to think of Plan B because it scares the crap out of you. And I think
Well,
it's a collective failure as a club.
so what I'm taking from you right now, Mario, is that the problems we're having right now are is shit that we could have took care of 2 years ago. I think that's
It's an
also
ongoing
because
issue.
remember
It's an ongoing
that
issue.
faith, right? The Penta year, the faithful. I think
Same shit
since
happened.
that transfer window, that moment where we had a chance to improve, and then each off season after that, our priorities were always fucked up. We're always trying to replace Jonas. We're always trying to replace Mitroglou or Cardozo. We're always trying Benfica. We're always trying to fucking replace somebody, a great player from the past. And sometimes it's just not how it works. Sometimes you just have to get players, to
I can do it
to
today.
fill in weaknesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, to fill in a weakness.
Well,
You
see,
know
I
what I
look,
mean?
I,
Who would've fucking thought?
but you hit it perfect because that Penta year is the year where Rui Vitória got 0 points in the Champions League. It was an absolute Vergonha. It was still a Penta year. We still had some hope. Luis Vieira chose not to spend a cent. We lost the title. Everyone was pissed, and he's like, "This is my man." He didn't fire Rui Vitória. You guys are gonna shut up and take it. You're gonna still buy my shirts. You're still gonna show up. You're still gonna vote me in because I've gone and chased away any other candidates. And then it was only halfway through the season last year when people were booing Rui Vitória, but they started attacking Luis Vieira. That was the first time since he's been in office since his early days that he got seriously attacked. He got scared. He fired. He refused to fire Rui Vitória, but he got scared and fired him out of a panic. And Lage bailed him out. If Lage didn't do what he did,
Well, this is also what happened before that. So the Penta, we don't score. We don't get the center back. We don't get the left back or the right back. Excuse me. Then in the off season, he signs Conti, Lemma, and Webby, the right
Yeah.
back.
we do nothing with them.
None of those guys are gone, and Webby is already fucking out of the door, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, so check it out. So then, okay, look into the front, right? They got Ferreira, Facundo Ferreira, and they got the Mexican kid,
Castillo.
the Colombian, Castillo,
The Chilean.
right? Chilean. Sorry, they get
Yeah.
rid of him. They get rid of him, but then the next season they fill in the RDT. They got to get another guy. They put in RDT. They get Carlos Vinicius. What about the back? What about the guys? Why didn't you do that to the center backs? Like, you got Lemma, you got Conti. They didn't work out. That should have been a first priority. As soon as they were gone, that should have been a first priority. I didn't even want to hear about a Kyle Lucas or a fucking any winger. It's crazy, and we've been reeling since that Penta year, and the problems, and that's why I can't all blame Bruno Lage. He's only working with what he's working with when he's telling these fucking guys, you gotta fucking right. That's his thing. But I can't blame him all because these are the problems that we foresaw coming 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we said we need a right back, we need two center backs. We need a right back and two center backs to this fucking day, Mario. Like,
Yeah,
to this day. Tomas Tavares is a good right back. Don't get me wrong, but now it's the left back, really, if you think about it. So the same problems that we were having 2-3 years ago, we still having those same fucking problems to this day, and that is mind-boggling. And I didn't even know that we were going to talk about that on the show today.
No,
That's
it's
just
just
a
kind
really
of
basic
like
thing
it's
that-
it's this kind of like
Yeah.
unsettling feeling. I'll say one thing. So you mentioned a name, and it's funny. It was so it was Luis playing Football Manager made this comment to me the other day, and as soon as you mentioned Ferreira, he's a Benfica player still. He's on loan. He's coming back this summer. He's playing in La Liga. He's got 8 goals to his name. He's got 1 assist. It's not a fantastic striker whatsoever. But we have this odd situation that we got Crovey playing at West Brom. I suppose he's doing okay at West Brom. They like him at West Brom. Yeah, his loan ends. He comes back to our team. We got Zikovic is still like on this team. We always forget about him because it's like, what the fuck are we doing with this guy?
Zivkovic is not on this team anymore.
Oh, do we
He
sell him?
doesn't play for Benfica. I've
No,
never
but-
seen him play for Benfica.
But he's technically on the roster. You know what I mean? It's stupid. He's on the payroll. And so, but then and there's tons of other guys. Alpha Smith. Remember Alpha
He's
Smith?
like Bobby Bonilla. This motherfucking
Yeah.
guy. You know the Bobby. You know Bobby Bonilla played for the Mets. He makes
He got
$1
his
million
paycheck. He's
every
happy.
April. Yeah, every fucking April, this guy gets $1 million. He hasn't played since 2002.
They go,
Get the
yeah.
fuck out,
Do
are
you want?
kidding?
They go, do you want us to buy out your contract? He said, no, I'm fine.
Nah,
I'm good.
I'm Bobby Bonilla, baby.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what
getting
fucking
paid.
call Zivkovic. Bobby Bonilla. That's that fucking guy.
I gotta get this Bobby Bonilla's face and put it over fucking Zikovic's face.
Fucking Bobby Bonilla. Just the jersey. You don't got to get his face because
Yeah.
nobody knows who Bobby Bonilla looks like. But if you, everybody knows the story of Bobby Bonilla's contract. Hasn't played since 2002. Some crazy shit. He gets paid $1 million from the Mets every year, and he's gonna get paid for the next, like, I think he's got 2 or 3 more
Some mega
years.
contract that was like some
Some
stupid
crazy
deal.
contract. They
Because
backloaded
they
him a
do,
bunch.
yeah, they do these contracts to, like, because they can't afford the salary and they don't want to pay the luxury tax, so they basically give him, like, there's no chance in hell the guy will still be playing at the age he'll be, but it's a way of getting it in the system. The guy, you look like it's almost an insurance annuity. You're giving me
Right.
guaranteed cash for life, even beyond, once I'm done working, I'm still getting paid. Cool.
But
So it's
even further than that, I think it was actually the way he structured his contract. He said to himself, "I'm not going to be able to play baseball for a lot longer, right? And when I'm growing, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to be able to do. So I want that. I want to pay
we
a
use
million
Bobby
dollars
Bordia
every
to
fucking
play
year."
in Lardo. We could use Bobby Bordia. That's what Peter Parker says.
Yeah, I take Bobby Bonilla right fucking now. Bobby Bonilla,
Man.
Bobby Bonilla, real quick. I know this is off a tangent, baseball, American baseball tangent. Bobby Bonilla used to play with the Killer Bees. It was Bobby Bonilla, Barry Bonds,
Yeah.
and Van Slyke. I think it was Van Slyke, the Pittsburgh Pirates outfield. They call him the Killer Bee. Them motherfuckers tight, man. They were tight. They were the shit. That's why Bobby Bonilla got that big fucking contract to go to play for the Mets,
Yeah,
because
because
he was
also,
tight.
yeah,
Yeah, let's
we,
see anyway.
we got
But
sidetracked
anyway,
there. That's hilarious. All right, so
yeah,
just to wrap up the Europa part, Shakhtar, we're gonna go in with the idea that likely we're gonna see the 4-3-3 again. Do we agree on that? I think we do.
I think
Um,
so.
I wouldn't shock me if Lodge does a bit of his squad juggling. That doesn't make sense, but whatever. I know Peter Parker. He made a comment about
I expect. I think somebody's got hurt there at the end of that game. I
yeah, he seemed
fully
like he got a
expect to
tweak.
see Florentino.
Yeah, Florentino
I
back. Yeah.
fully expect to see Florentino play, and I'm gonna be this to be honest. I honestly think that with Florentino in that middle playing defensive midfield, I think it would be a lot better to go into that game with him anyway, even if somebody's was healthy and ready to go.
Yeah, I think he has more energy. He brings more pace.
More
Oh,
energy, younger,
and
right?
he can
He's got
actually.
something to prove.
He's not like a pure box to box, but he can move forward and do those passes. And the thing is, when you got two defensive mids, he can actually have a bit more flexibility. You know what I mean? Like, so, I agree. I agree with that. I agree with Weigl in Europe. I think Weigl wants to prove his name. I think as a German, as a new player to Benfica, like, I think some of these, because he himself, like, I think he got a cap before in Germany. He wants to get back on the Germany radar. It'll be tough for him to do it this year. But the thing is, you do it by playing well in Europe. You know, the German national team manager is not looking at Benfica versus Gil Vicente. He's looking at Benfica versus Shakhtar, Benfica versus Frankfurt. You know what I mean? Like, when we go in those games,
I fully expect Weigl also, Mario, to have a great game
yeah,
Thursday. Great showing, because it's gonna be kind of what he's a little bit more, not maybe was a bit more used to, a little bit more European football. Like, it's a little different than just Portuguese. They're not Germans. I'm just saying the style of play. It just happens that way.
it just
Everything
feels better.
slows down. Everything bogs down a little bit in Europa. In Champions League as well, it feels like those seconds and those minutes just go by so slow, ever so slow.
And Peter Parker thinks Samaris will be good for the weekend against Morinez. It doesn't seem like a serious injury, but I also think it's a case of a lot of rust because he hasn't played, combined with a lot of age. He's getting to a point in his career where he's older. He's in his twilight years. We thought he was done last year. The last 3 years at Benfica, we've kind of talked about him being done. Yet he still is a quality player. It's just a case that he's an older player. And when you're coming with rust when you're older, I think stuff like this will happen, right? So, um, yeah, man. So I'm looking forward to this game. Sharice the match. You want me to punch into that, I guess, and all that fun
Yeah,
stuff.
let's do it. Yep.
Um, for me, the play of the match has to be. I kind of was debating about the Tarat pass leading to a goal because to me, I love that Tarat shot, but to me it was the pass because there's this slide tackle that Samaris did shortly before that. Nasty slide tackle. Got the ball, pushed it up. I forgot who it went to. Went to Tarat, and Tarat did that beautiful pass and beautiful finish by Vinicius. And you can't have a goal. You can't have a striker scoring a goal if he's not getting fed beautiful passes. You know, so that was a great play. And you can't get the goal unless you have a striker that can finish, and that's Vinicius for you. So it was just well done. And I saw some idiots kind of bitching about fucking offsideness and yada yada yada. The way that play, when the ball went in, it was a header off a Gil Vicente guy to the middle of the park. The ball bounced around. Tarat got it, crossed it in. Vinicius in the net. Calaboca. And then it's done, right? Um, the other one, the Choris in the match, I think was difficult because I didn't feel like there's a lot of like Choris to be given around. I kind of want to give it to Farrell because I just don't feel confident seeing him, and I feel there's a couple plays there where almost like he almost repeated what Ruben Diaz did. And at one point, he looked like he was kind of pissed off that the players were chirping at him, saying, "What the fuck you doing?" Right? Um, and more leaning towards Bruno Lage again, the Shadis, because he's still trying to figure this squad out into fucking middle of February. He still hasn't figured it out. Player of the match, I'll give it to, you know what? Because of the highlight and everything else, I'll give it to Tarat. I wish he got that goal. That would have been a highlight season. So I think he's the guy who deserves that one.
Yeah, but I'm gonna echo your play of the match. I thought that was a great build-up play. Samaris with the big tackle, slide tackle, gets it to the top with the nice little move before even ball gets out. You know, he has to make a move, so he served it in perfect, and he served it to my player of the match, Vinicius. And the
That guy's a
reason I'm gonna
beast, man.
give,
I love Vinicius.
yeah, yeah, the
I
reason I'm
fucking
gonna
love him.
give him the player of the match is because of me, because of what I said last week on the show. I said Vinicius can play a 4-3-3. He can play by himself. He can play on an island. Let him go out there. The guy's fucking tough as nails. And what's he do? He finds himself in a position on an island, gets a fucking perfect ball from fucking Tarap, and heads it in the back of the goal. Where we'd be without Vinicius this year, I don't know.
It'd be
Really
scary, man.
don't
It'd be
know.
very scary.
I'd be really scared. Yeah, to be honest, at this moment, we kind of talked about it a little bit. Vinicius is my player of the year right now for Benfica. For me, he's just what he's meant to this club with the goals that he scored, the you know the passion he showed for the club, the coolness, the calmness, the swag. I fucking love everything about the kid. I'm so glad we have him on the team. I really am. And he's my player of the match. He just played for me. He played well. He got into positions. He did a lot with that space that he had. Because when you're playing 4-3-3 and you're a striker by yourself, you got a lot of space. Maybe that's why Rafa's not too good. Maybe he doesn't play in space so well as far as like with the ball at his feet and then has to like make all these decisions. Rafa's more of a get the ball and go. Get the ball and go and make a quick decision, and there it is. Sometimes with Rafa, all that space out there, and he receives the ball with the ball, with his back towards the goal, if you will, and he has to make dribbles. I think Rafa needs to be more used in kind of a stretch role, but like I said, Vinicius today, man of the match for me. My shooties of the match for me, you can give it to Ferro. That's fair. I think the clean sheet, no matter how many shots they gave up, no matter how many you know, how much possession they gave up at the end of that game. I think the clean sheet is going to be something that Ruben Diaz and Ferro can go back and tip their hat. We got a
Yeah.
clean sheet. We kept them off the board. Maybe that's fine. But Grimaldo, when you got to bring in, to me, it's all of their fault. No doubt about it. Why they're in a 4-3-3? Because their defense is playing like shit, right? So you need a midfield who can hold the ball a little longer. And the reason is the Grimaldo. Grimaldo has been a liability. He's not thinking free kicks, thank fucking God, anymore. These free kicks at least seem straight to the point. At least they're going somewhere. I feel more confident with Pizzi taking them.
Pizzi tries. He can pinpoint a player a lot better, and if it happens, it
Yeah,
happens. But at least it's creating a goal scoring opportunity
opportunity.
instead of just shooting it high, and away we go.
Yes, gosh, man.
Yeah.
So
Though
Grimaldo, to me, when you got a midfielder
that's
covering
a
your
fair
back, I
one. I
mean,
think it's a very fair one.
you're just not. You're not. And I'm a fucking Grimaldo fan. This is what kills me. It might seem like I hate Grimaldo, but I've been on the show many times. I am a Grimaldo fan. I love Grimaldo. I love that he plays for my team. I think we're lucky. I think we're lucky to have a left back like him. To be
Yeah.
honest, I really do feel that way. But just as of late, like
Well, the guy
I,
gets. Here's the thing: to run to his defense,
I
and
have
this,
to give him shit.
but to run to Grimaldo's defense, and run to Farrell's defense, the true Cerise of the match. I think they're in the position that they are because of a lack of rotation. That they can't get sat on the bench to get their mind straight. You know what I mean? The guys need sometimes a few games away, and they come back stronger. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I
I
mean, we do it in real life, right? Sometimes we call
take a
in, like, you
break.
know what? I need a day. Like, I've been running hard. I've been going to work every fucking day. I mean, all on time for the last, 6 months. I need a day. I'm going to take a day off. I'm going to call work, say, hey, I'm not coming in today. And you take that day off to rest, rejuvenate, whatever it is. Do it on a Tuesday or something like that. It's the best day.
Yeah,
Wednesday, some shit like that, and go back to work in the middle of the week and get Friday. Friday's only a couple more days, right? You need that rest. Everybody, we're all human. We're all human, and I think you're right, man. They ain't got no time to reset those gears, man.
Yeah, they can't like break that engagement, right? And it's a tough part. The one thing I want to wrap up real quickly on though, I was kind of looking at it also was man, you're talking about Vinicius a bit ago. So this is an interesting setup for our Liga this year. Vinicius 20 matches, 15 goals, number one top goal scorer in Portugal, Liga NOS. So he's above everyone else. Pizzi, 22 matches, so 2 matches less. He's got 12 goals, which is amazing for a midfielder. You know,
And
he's
he shoots penalties.
and he shoots
And he
penalties and
shoots
stuff, so he
penalties.
gets penalties. But he scores them, which is big.
He scores them. He scores them.
Third
He
place,
scores them.
third place, which I didn't know this. Lima from Gil Vicente has 9 goals. Fourth place, Paulinho, 9 goals. Fifth place, Bruno Fernandes, 8 goals. Doesn't even play for our league anymore, so that drops off. So you got to go down to sixth
He'll probably
place.
still be in the top 10. Bruno Fernandes will still be in the top 10 of goal scorers at the end of the season.
No, he'll lose because he's got 8 goals, and so then it kind of drops off. Like number 10 has 7 goals, so
Who's
he'll
number 10?
Zé Luís from Porto.
Oh.
Yeah, he'll. But the thing
But he
is,
don't even play.
he hasn't been playing much. That's my.
He don't even play.
Yeah, so maybe all, and then you look at Alex Telles is at 8 goals, down there. But the thing is, you kind of like there's a gap. There's a clear, and this is why it's kind of frustrating. Is you look at how this team was playing. You look at the goal differential. It is monstrous. Like it feels like we don't belong here. Like that's where it's like we have talent. I think Romaldo is a good player. I think Ferro and Ruben Diaz are good players. I think Tarap's good. I think these guys can be killing teams. We could have like it feels like we should have that. You know that 7 point gap we had before? It feels like we should still be around that. Like it'd be nice if we were at 10, but it does not feel like we belong with a 1 point gap. Part of it I can shit on the refs because of what they did with the Porto game, and kind of shit like that. But at the end of the day, like it's our own fault because you look we were 7 point gap before, but we lost to Porto at Stade Luge. We lost to Porto to the Dragão. That's 6 points right there. We're 1 point ahead of Porto. If we actually were able to nick points away from them, the gap would be different, right? Like, and it's like you got to beat your main rivals. You can still. Ruve thought he proved you can still win the league without beating them, but it doesn't feel the same.
No, it don't.
It doesn't feel. You know what I mean? So I
It
just.
don't.
I hope we get our act together. I hope we nick out the result in Europa League because I do believe I think it's big for the club. I think it's important for the team. I think there's a pride factor. I think there's when people hear Benfica's name, I think even like ICC when they come here in North America, yeah, it's Benfica. They're always in Europe doing something. They don't win it. They haven't won it in years, but they're one of these teams. They're a name that they like Sevilla. Well, Sevilla won Europa a lot, but there's these clubs that haven't won a European tournament recently, but they're always
It's just
there.
all around.
So,
They're always there.
Tottenham never wins any European tournament. They're around. I mean, there's certain names they're around. They're part of Ajax. Ajax hasn't won anything in years. They're around. They did what Benfica did. They went to the final in Europa, lost to United. We lost to Chelsea. You know what I mean? But they're there. They're a team that's kind of like they're one of these teams. They might pull it off one of these days. They're scrappy. They're always developing good talent. You know what I mean? They belong. They belong. They're not the same as Barcelona, Real, and all that. I understand, but like they belong in somewhere in that club or outside the club, right? But when you get knocked out by like way early or you just don't show up, period, I hope we do it. I hope we win. Hopefully, I haven't looked at how the draw system works, but hopefully we get a favorable draw in the next round. And because our league is going to get easier, the one positive to kind of end it on a high note is this Porto, Braga, Gil Vicente gauntlet and Famalicão and the TAS and Europa League. That is the toughest gauntlet now that we had. Now that this passes, if we pass Shakhtar, it's going to get a lot easier. Got the likes of Morinez and Stubble and teams that are, we can get even bigger score lines. We can kind of like be a little sloppy and still get away with 3 points, you know what I mean? And hopefully fine tune our game. There's no more cup matches. Taça Portugal's at the end of the year. It's the last game of the season. So now it's just league and Europa here and there if we keep progressing. And also we don't have as tough of opponents. Sporting, we face Sporting at the Luge as the last game of the season. But for now, like, it's pretty stable going. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just make it through, advance, get your shit together, get some rotation going. If this formation works, great. Just build on it and just let's do something special.
I agree. I agree. And before we head out, I don't know why, but the more you talk about Europa, like there's one player that I keep thinking, like every time you talk about Europa and this match coming up on Thursday, there's one player I'm thinking about. And
Yeah.
it's not Ferro, it's not Ruben Dias, it's not Grimaldo. It's Pizzi. I need Pizzi to really, really show up on Thursday. Like I'm hoping and praying that I get the Pizzi I've known to love the last couple of seasons with Benfica.
Yeah.
This is and it's hard to say, just Peasy because everybody's been playing bad, but like to me, he's the captain in my mind. In my mind, Peasy's the captain of the team because Peasy has been the best player of the team, and he's been around. Yeah, he's been around. He's won with this team. He's won leagues with this team. He's won Tazas with this team. He's won European games.
Yeah.
I mean, just slightly, but he's been there.
Yeah.
And to me, he's the capitan. And on Thursday, I want and need him to show up because he's one of my favorite players, and not just Benfica players. He's just one of my favorite players. I just love Peasy. I really do. I'm a big fucking fan of Peasy. I get to watch. I've watched so many Peasy games, and I just wanted to go back to as Peasy goes, Benfica goes. You remember that saying? As Peasy goes,
Yeah,
Benfica goes.
that's very true.
I wanted to get back to that because I really need him. I really do. And the reason I say it this way is because I want to win Europe. Even though I say I don't care, the league, all this shit. Like when I watched, I told you that day, I forget all of the shit that I talk until I'm watching the game in front of the TV.
As soon as the game's there, it's go time. We got
Yeah,
this.
as soon as the ball's rolling and Benfica's kicking, you know what I mean? I'm like, let's go. I want to beat it. I want to beat everybody. Fuck the world. You know what I mean? It's us. It's us versus the world. Fuck them. I need him. I need him to show up. I need him to do something, whether it be a fucking penalty like he got in last match. I need him to be there to get these guys up, to give that speech at the
I'll say this much and to your point, no matter how shit we are, even if Pizzy's playing like shit, but no matter how shit the team is, he is that one player when they put the camera on different players. You look at him, he still put a smile on his face. He'll still look at the other team because let's go, come on, let's go. He's not very vocal. He's not loud, but he's a positive player. He's a positive influence.
I need him to be positive on Thursday.
Yeah.
On the score sheet, on the stat line, and in these fucking guys' ear because I just feel like we're so good when Peasy's on his shit. When Peasy's really on his shit, like everybody else is like it's infectious, and everybody else is on their shit. You know what I mean? Like it just I want him to do good. I've been rooting for him. I've watched him in like very closely when I watch Benfica. He's one of the main players that I'm watching a lot. And I just need him to do something, man, because I want to win this game. I'm really, really want to win this game.
Yeah, I think we do it. We could easily do it. Very much so, man.
I hope so.
How's your Thursday looking? Oh, you had late in Canada. How's your Thursday looking, buddy? Sorry about that.
Thursday's looking. I mean, we'd probably be about the same time.
Yeah.
The show we'll probably had the same time of the show.
Yeah, like
I'm
10:30. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay
Yeah.
with that.
I'm gonna watch the game. I'll be watching the game. There's no fucking doubt about that. And hopefully we got something good to talk about like we did today. I mean, as bad as we're talking, we did win.
Hey, 3 points is 3
game.
points.
We did win.
Technically,
We're
what
back in
happened?
first.
What happened this weekend was Porto won their game, and they were first in the league. We officially went from 7 points up, first place, to second place, and that mentally, whilst we were playing that game, psychologically, when we got the early goal, but when it wasn't going well, or even when Gil Vicente looked like they might get an equalizer. That eats into your game. It's like, oh shit, this could be it. This could be because once they run. We've done the gauntlet against Porto. We're never faced them again. Right now, if we win the Liga, we win the Liga because we win all of our games. We lose the Liga because we fuck up now, right? So it can be mentally, but if we get that, it starts chipping away at Porto also. But yeah, man, we'll see you guys on Thursday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Always love everything you guys do when you comment everything that came out. When we're late game, sometimes it's a smaller cast. If we get any Ukrainian guys that for some reason stuck around this long to watch this podcast, sometimes we get some of these Europa ones. We get Croatians and some other people popping in, which I think is hilarious in the chat. It's really nice to chat with them. And yeah, they're talking about the Argos, fucking CFL football in Canada. That's hilarious. I just noticed the chat. I wasn't looking at it
Yeah, man, we got XFL going, baby.
XFL, man, that's hilarious.
I'm loving it.
I gotta watch it. You know what? I actually like the original XFL. I did like the original one, man. I gotta admit.
This one's even better. This one's better, man.
Yeah.
Like I love football. Don't get me wrong, and I know what the level of football players I'm seeing. I'm not seeing NFL players. I get it, but the whole thing it's done well, man. It's done really good. There's so much to watch. so much sideline reporting, so much players talking on during the games. I mean, it's great, man. I'm loving
Well,
that.
and they're going with that whole idea of not really having like a fixed. They have fixed teams, but they're not like fixed location, right? They rotate. Is the idea? Is not with the XFL. Like it isn't like you're always playing in San Diego. You can actually they bounce around a bit because it's almost like a road show. How they're doing
Well,
it.
I mean, I know they got L.A. and they got New York.
They got
8
regions.
teams.
They got regions, but it's like, but it seems like they can play in different. Like year over year, it won't be the same venue. You know what I mean? So I think they're
Yeah, and
trying to
you
be
know,
more mobile in a sense, like more loose.
and what's gonna happen too when you have eight teams, right? Like I'm trying to hitch my wagon onto a team. I'm trying to like, who's my favorite
Yeah.
XFL team? I don't know yet. I don't know. I was trying to like LA, but LA is fucking terrible. They suck. I can't like them. I think I'm running with Houston. I might run with Houston. I might have to do it.
That's
But
good.
that's what's
Houston's.
so
Yeah.
funny. In 2 years, when they get more teams, I'm already gonna have my team. Like I'm Houston, baby. So it's gonna be weird
Day
like
one.
that.
Well, it's like
Day
a
one, Houston, baby.
yeah,
Day one.
it's like the Canadian Premier League. So we got like last year we started with 7 teams, and we want this team Hamilton now, which is like south of us, not too far away. It's like 45 minutes. So we fuck it. We decided to go with them. There's a Toronto team called York, but we didn't go with them, right? But this year they got an eighth team. They got Atletico Madrid. Came to Canada and started a team, and they put in the capital just because Madrid's in the capital in Spain. So Ottawa, so Atletico Ottawa. I'm like, that's kind of cool, but I was supporting Hamilton already, so fuck you, Atletico. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's kind of cool. But they got a bunch of dockets, and the one thing is, I know some guys locally. They're big fans of the local game, and our region is likely scheduled for a team. Whether it be this, not, it's not gonna be this season's about to kick off. Might be in 1 year or so's time. There's a couple of owners interested in starting one because the population in this area is like over 500,000, right? So you could support a club. And they're like, oh yeah, once it comes, you're gonna support them. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm supporting these guys from day one, and then they choose second season. I'm
I got
supporting them
an orange
again.
kid.
I got kits
You got
right now.
orange? They wear orange.
They
Hamilton's
wear orange. Yeah, they wear orange.
Orange. Yeah.
They're
I see some of you
yeah.
guys' Twitters and stuff.
Their thing is like Thor, like the hammer from Thor, and they got a dragon with a hammer that smashes shit. Is like the cheesy thing they do. Uh, and
You know,
it's
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look. I want a Canadian Premier team favorite. I want a favorite Canadian
Yeah.
Premier League team.
and they're fun. They're funny. They're funny little scrappy
Definitely
things.
not gonna be Atletico Ottawa. I'm definitely not going there.
You know what? I will say this much. Atletico Auto gets João Felix playing there. If they need to kind of loan him out to get him some more minutes or some shit, that's not gonna happen. But man, I would fucking like, cause you know how Man City signed Terry and brought.
Run with that, Mario. How they gonna run with what you just said about Felix?
Yeah, man, I'm fucking hilarious. Yo, when they announced that team, I posted like some on Twitter. I had like fucking hundreds and hundreds of sometimes some things on Twitter get carried away. But sometimes, like I tweet something or you tweet something, and it's like our gang of people that we have. So Peter Parker on Twitter, other people that are on Twitter, things of the store, and there's like 20 or 30 people talking, but it's the same group. But sometimes you tweet something and it just like runs away with people you've never heard of before. And it was like as soon as they announced this Atletico team, I just made a wisecrack saying João Felix finding out he's coming to play in Ottawa, and it's like one gif of him looking all confused and shit.
I remember that tweet. Yeah.
And it's like I just for days, and like I got hundreds upon hundreds, and it's like random people all over Canada just fucking going, oh yeah, João Felix, oh my god, this guy, and then people like in Europe and other places hearing about this. I don't know how the fuck it spread. It was funny though. That's what I love about Twitter and shit. It's hilarious how the shit gets out of
I want
control.
João Felix back. Come back.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh
Come
my
back.
god. You know what I
We'll give
want?
you
I
half
want.
the
I
money
want.
back.
I want
We'll give
fucking
you half
Rat
the money
Sunch.
'cause
Rat Sunch, the way he's
give us
killing
half
it.
The fucking player we gave you.
Yeah,
Fucking
no kidding.
Atletico
Yeah,
Madrid.
you
I
fucking
fucking
ruined it.
hate Atletico Madrid too.
Yeah, fucking Rat Sunch though. That's a guy we could have got, I think. But oh well, it is what it is. I think now he's gonna kill it. He's fired up again. He's killing it. He makes it to the Euro and shows up. That's it. We missed our window to get him back.
He ain't coming back, man. They not coming back, and they never want to come back, and we never ever bring them back. So
I
You
hope
know,
we bring some.
it's gonna be some 19-year-old kid.